Mittens! Welcome and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Ev. This week's video, it is all about this gazelle wool. So this is Gazelle Happy Feet, hand-painted dark earth tone. I actually have 3 of these skeins, but for the project that we will be casting on, I'd only need 2. 75% merino wool, 25 polyamide, and it is 360 yards the skein. A couple months ago, right before summer happened, I actually stumbled upon this very interesting pattern book, the Monarch Knitting for Victory, Hand Knits for Men and Women in Service. It is a pattern book for the Canadian Army during World War II. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to cast on one of these knits? So this pattern book, it is free. I will link it down below in the description, but there's actually socks, shorts, tank tops, pullovers, mittens, scarves, hats, men and women's like full-on uniform. Like, it has everything. Some lovely mittens. I like the ones with the flap for the fingers because I find that really useful, and I'm really interested to see how that will work up. I know that vintage knitting patterns are written differently, and this was published in 1942, if I'm correct. When was this published? Was this end beginning war? Third date, let's see. Montreal, Calgary, Winnipeg. Published by the makers of Monarch yarn. I'm assuming that that was a yarn brand. I don't think Monarch yarns is still a thing. One thing that is very interesting is, so the pattern that I've decided to knit actually just says, Monarch down, 2 balls are needed. Number 10 needles are used, and that is it. It gives you a swatch, a tension swatch. I found out that knitting needles number 10 is 3mm needles. And then I found out that Monarch down 2 is a 2-ply light fingering weight yarn. So we will be using this yarn. First, we will do a swatch. So the tension of the stitch is 13 stitches in 2 inches, 8 rounds for 1 inch. And see if we have tension gauge. So Gazelle is a Turkish yarn, and I have actually used this yarn in the past. This will be the second time I used it. I actually used the hand-painted yarn for a pair of socks. It was the very first pair of socks that I knit, and they were just some very lovely, peachy, they'll look really good. So I know that this yarn is pretty sturdy, and it has a really nice texturing effect. It is still a little bit too hot for that pink sweater, so I just took it off. So we have our cake. This is our lovely first skein, and I will be casting on my shorties, my Chiago short needles with 3mm needles. Look how tiny this is. I just counted, and 13 stitches is 2 inches wide. 8 stitches is 1 inch wide. I have 20 stitches right now by 10 rows. So my swatch is accurate, it is correct. So I'm just gonna call it quits. The first one, cast on 25 stitches. Before starting with the flap, I'm assuming they refer to as the place that folds over for your fingers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The beginning, my favorite part to every knitting journey. So I don't know why I am freaking Speedy Gonzalez today. I think that this is gonna be this portion here on the mitten of the closure. So it is a nice 20 stitch repeat, just like a rib. But now it says to break the yarn, so let's just. So I put this on a random pair of shorty needles, my Knit Pro shorty needles that I have, because we will be, apparently you leave that to sit on the side, and now we will be casting on for the actual hand. Starting at the cuff, cast on 48 stitches, join in the round, and then we will repeat 32 rounds. That's about 4 inches. What I find really interesting is this is clearly a scan because there's literally like a big smudge on the PDF. Like, this is someone's pattern. Like, I love how actually vintage it looks. I mean, it is vintage. It is a scan, but you get what I mean. Finally finished the cuff for my lovely little mitten. So we did the first 6 rows and we finished the cuff for the little mitten. So it's a 32, I think it's 32 stitches of ribbing and then 6 stitches of a little just regular stockinette. So let's see what is next. So we're gonna start the gusset now. So first round, knit 1, knit 2 stitches, next stitch, in the next stitch, knit 1, knit 2 stitches, in the next stitch, knit to end of round. Okay. Okay, so let's see if I understood. From my understanding, I think the gusset is for the thumb. I don't know, vintage patterns are apparently, I now understand why. They're a little bit tricky. They write it like this is how it's written. First round, knit 1, knit 2 stitches. In next, knit 1, knit 2 stitches. Knit round. That's it. Those are the instructions. It's very like to the point and to the like, there's no hand holding. There's no like, you need to get it, and then that's it. Like that's the pattern. So then I think we're gonna keep doing this till we have 60 stitches on the needles. Okay, continue increasing in the manner 2 stitches every 3rd round, having 2 stitches more in between each increases. Yeah, so now we have 5. Until there are 6 increases, 60 stitches on the needles. So that is what we are going to be working on. So I got my spare thread and we are just going to be slipping 16 stitches. Stitches onto a gusset, cast on 4 stitches, knit to end of round. Should now have 48 stitches. Knit 6 rounds. So I just casted on 4 more stitches through the backwards loop and we will just knit 6 rounds. Ooh. We are at the 7th round. So the next step is to knit 3, purl 1, knit 1 10 times. Purl 1, knit 1, that's 1. So we are now binding off the stitches. So for the finger flap, cast off 21 stitches. So we're just gonna do a regular cast off, I'm assuming. Doesn't say how. So a week has gone by. This is where we are at. We are at the part where we connect these 2 pieces together. I'm still trying to figure out how, but so far we have a lovely little statement piece. I'm just gonna, oh my God, this is not working out. I don't know what ends up happening. Let's read this again. Knit 1, we did that. Place flap at back opening of knit 1 together. Like that. And then we're just gonna knit 2 together again. Ugh, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, we're just gonna do that. And then grafting sides, rib 21 stitches, the flap knit 2 together, twice grafting the sides. Okay. Purl, knit. So I ended up twisting and flipping the stitches so they're next to the ones I need to knit together. I'm gonna knit these 2 together. Okay, so now we've thus grafted the side, thus grafting the side edges. Knit to the end of the round. Perfect, I can do that. It is kind of taking shape, and yeah, I think I'm just gonna sew the flap inwards. I think that's what you're supposed to do. Either way, if I made a mistake on this pattern, well then I made a mistake. So knit 6, knit 2 together, repeat from around. Okay, so we just knit 6 and knit 2 together all around, and then we just do a knit row, continue decreasing in this manner, 6 stitches every 2nd round, having 1 less stitch between each stitch, each decrease. Okay. Hello. Did I change my shirt? Yes, but also we now have our mitten. So now we just have to graft the stitches together. So it says to graft. With wrong side of work towards you, with the darning needle, pull the needle through the stitches, draw wool through and leave on needle. I'm just gonna not do it the way they're saying because I am a rebel. 5, 6. Okay, there's so many ends, so many loose ends. We now have our mitten. And honestly, this is kind of really cute. In the end, I never figured out how to do the flap. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna sew it in along the inside, like reverse the flap and sew it in. And it's just gonna have like a little puffed out section, like so. And then we're gonna wash and block this mitten. It is a little bit on the small side for my fingers, but hopefully by washing and blocking, this is a super wash wool, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna stretch out. So basically, so far we've worked on this, what, I would say 2 days? Yeah. Knit 2 together 10 times, break wool, draw through, fasten, wrong side. Oh, that's it? There's no decreasing in the thumb? Okay then, cast on 4 stitches. I might do 6. I don't think that's gonna change that much. I feel like I always overweave just to be, like, I always weave in my ends just to be extremely safe. Come on, little thumb. Oh, that's perfect. Yay, thumbs up. I am now knitting the other hand, but for some weird reason, there is so much less instructions for this one. It's basically just like, do the right side, but on the left. So vintage patterns are really very straight to the point. Don't really give you much to go with. It's very much figure it out on your own. Hopefully my goal would be to finish this tonight. I think I can. Okay, so I literally just filmed this and turns out it was in slow motion. So here, yeah, I don't know, I filmed it in slow motion. But what I had said is today I am wearing my Noro Ito cardigan. This was a cardigan that I knit up myself without a pattern. I don't remember what I did, but I know I didn't use a pattern and I knit this up last summer, so I can't really, I don't know, I don't remember what I did, but I know that I wanted a nice double, kind of a nice folded button band. So I did put some buttons, but I didn't make buttonholes on the other side, like an open cardigan and more of like a decoration thing. So yeah, so this was with Noro Ito and it's a little bit warm today, so I might have to take it off, but for now we're good. So this is where we are at with the flap. I reread the pattern and I'm still unsure what this, like, I don't know what to do with it in the pattern. It doesn't say. So I'm just basically folding it and like sewing it in. Unless I misread and I keep misreading it, I don't know, it just says to graft the flap by 2 stitches. Like, I'm a little bit confused, but anyways, that is how we're gonna finish this mitten, and I need to do the thumb. But before we finish off and cast on the thumb, I've decided to maybe go defrost some bananas because I had the idea, if we're making a vintage homemade mittens, like, you know, vintage mittens, homemade, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I had the idea to make some muffins. So I had the idea to make some muffins, so we're gonna go defrost some bananas from my freezer. And yeah, homemade, vintage, that kind of nice homemade muffins kind of works, right? That will make it work. As predicted, it got a little bit too toasty in here, but welcome back to my kitchen. Last time you were here, we dyed some yarn, and today we got some nasty, scrungy, gross bananas. They're still kind of frozen, but we'll make do with frozen bananas. So here's my dilemma. The recipe I found calls for 3 bananas, and that's exactly what I have. I have 3 bananas, but it says it's only for 12 muffins, and I wanted to make more. So I'm thinking, do I just double everything, put 3 bananas? I do have blueberries. Can I do banana, blueberry, and chocolate? Or would that be too weird? Yeah, so this is what we're gonna do. I do have some lovely fresh blueberries, add that, and some walnuts. So this is gonna be a banana, chocolate chip, blueberry, walnut muffin. Filling. I want these to be filling, so more stuff. Okay, so it said combine all of the dry ingredients. They meant all the dry, but not the sugar. I just put the sugar in the bowl. So we're gonna try to separate it. I'm a pro at this. I just hope this doesn't ruin my recipe. Ah! Do I just get new sugar and leave this? I think that's what I'm gonna do. This is all coated in flour and I want to do this properly, so I'm just gonna get rid of this. These are all my wet ingredients. So it's the vanilla, the sugar, banana, egg. Yeah, that's it. I'm just speeding things up because I've been doing this for like way too long, relooking the ingredients, and my banana is still a bit frozen. And my camera's about to die because I'm taking so long. So this is not working. Oh, the dishwasher's clean. A fork will work better. But yeah, so I mushed all my wet ingredients. I have all my dry ingredients in the other bowl. Oh, I forgot the oil. Okay, so now we add the dry ingredients. And you are off camera. It's okay, it looks like gunk anyways. You're not missing anything. So it's been about 19 minutes. The recipe calls for 18 to 21. I don't have a toothpick, so we are just going to be using a chopstick. Okay, so let's get out the muffins. We finished the mittens. There they are. So this one is washed and blocked, so it's a little bit more roomy around the fingers, as in this one isn't yet. Ooh. Still need to weave in the ends on this one. I just wanted to show you guys. So I am actually really impressed with how these mittens turned out. I think I'm just gonna actually get a button or something so I can kind of clip the back here. I'm pretty sure that for this one, washing it will help. Washing and blocking. This one isn't as bad, but this one right now it's not blocked. It's really tight on my hand. So hopefully that will allow, see, this one looks a lot better. This one's very spacey. But I did count my stitches and they all lined up perfectly. I actually really love these mittens. And again, if you guys do want to check out these patterns, maybe knit yourself some lovely flappy, I don't know what to call those, like flappy mittens. I highly recommend you guys check in the description down below. The pattern book will be there. Again, it is the Monarch's Knitting for Victory book. Honestly, for my first vintage pattern, this one turned out really great. And I'm actually wondering, do you guys think people in the army wore this back in the 40s. Do you think that like there were a bunch of men in the trenches with some little hand knit mittens? I mean, these are actually keeping my hands really warm right now, so possibly people knit these up for loved ones in the war. I have no idea. Oh, see, it says, this knit book contains a complete range of carefully chosen hand-knit garments for men and women in service and for war victims. It's dedicated to you, the women of Canada, to help you get enjoyment from your knitting and satisfaction from knowing that your time and effort are going to be used at their best advantage. So I guess this pattern book was released so that people who knit could help knit items for the war, which is really interesting. I don't know. This guy's my favorite. Look at him. I highly recommend you guys check out this book if you are into vintage knitting patterns. They also have patterns for children in it. These would make a great gift. These were actually really simple and easy and quick to knit up. There is only one size, but I'm pretty sure if you cast on a few more stitches, it's pretty easy to make them bigger, make them longer. And let me know if you guys knit these up. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was a pure joy as always. I hope you guys have a lovely, beautiful weekend. I will just eat my muffin. Bye.